Monterey sports. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone. I've started to, after 3 years of this, I've started to recognize schools by the fight songs. And so as soon as I heard that first few notes, I knew, hey, Monterey's here. Jason Sims is here. Third year at Monterey, second year as head coach. I was thinking about that, how to package that all together. And I think that's important. I think what I just said is important for what you guys did last year and what you're doing now. Last year, you come in, you had a pretty good quarterback come into the program that you knew pretty well. You injected kind of some new life, but year two with the head coach is always, this is where you kind of get to dig in, and your guys know you, you know them. Have you kind of felt that increased confidence with these guys?
Yes. There's familiarity with me and the kids now after being with them for 3 years. Being able to go through a full off season from ending football to go right into the winter and spring and into summer and just implement the program in its fullest it's been fun. It's been fun to watch it happen. I've got a phenomenal coaching staff. We had very minimal coaching turnover.
Stayed intact.
Yeah, I lost 2 coaches to college. Coach Gillespie went to go work with Art Browse at Eastern New Mexico, and my offensive line coach went to Troy. And I was able to bring in 2 really good ones. I have a new defense coordinator now, Cody Robinson. A lot of people around here know him. You know, he was at Estacado. He was the head coach of Pampa. And he brings a lot of juice and energy, and it's a great scheme. And then I brought in Jack Garcia, who is a native. He's a Tech grad. He played football at Shallow Water, but he's been out in East Texas. And he's been an offensive line coach for 10 years. And just bringing that experience to add into what we're doing. But having the continuity with our main guys being there the whole time. It's been a blessing, and I think we'll see that product on the field.
You're the one I needed to put on the spot. I put Andrew Roy on the spot because his staff has changed quite a bit, so and I made him name them all. So you would have had a lot easier time with that.
100%.
Jack is from Shallow Water?
Yes.
Well, you don't have to look very hard in Lubbock, Texas to find a Shallow Water. Somebody who grew up in Shallow Water and is coaching sports.
Yeah, it's a great community, and they're steeped in tradition in their sports, and it's no wonder you're going to have some coaches out of that crop.
Have you ever met his? I'm assuming he played for Keith Kitchens.
You know what? I've never actually asked him. We talked about it a little bit, but we don't relive our glories on the football field. We're usually talking about what we can do for these kids.
Ask him, because Keith is one of those West Texas originals, like Marlboro man. Slow talking,
there you
good dude. So I think he's from Hereford originally, so he's got some panhandle ties too.
I'll have to find that out. Now you've piqued my curiosity.
There's a lot of connective tissue between the panhandle and the South Plains, and you're a great example of that. Coming from Childress, I don't know if I ever talked about this enough with you or about you. I'm not blowing smoke. This dude was a good coach at Childress. He was there for a long time. You don't coach. You were there for 10 years?
7, and
that's not only were you there for a long time, that's home.
Yes.
You're coaching you in that. There's a lot of things that come with that, but you had a lot of success at Childress. I'm not sure people understand that when you landed at Monterey got better, and I think the last few years have shown that.
I appreciate that. I've been blessed to have some really good athletes and some really good coaches, and I got to enjoy being the head coach at Quanah for 5 years, and then Childress for 7, and won a lot of games, and you played a lot of playoff games, and it was a fun journey, and it's been real fun now to be in Lubbock and to coach 5A football, and hopefully that success continues.
Now you said it's been fun to coach 5A football. We'll see. I'm going to talk to you maybe in mid-October, early November, and see if you're still having fun, because your district now, wow, because you add Friendship. You add Memorial, so you've got one coming from 6A. You've got a brand new one, and then you got those same old teams. Your 2 LISD compatriots, I think, are going to be better because they've had great. I mean, every coach says we've had a great offseason, but they've also got some guys coming back. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but that 7 district games, is that right?
Yes.
That 7-week grind's going to be fun. And I'm going to check with you. Are you still having fun? We'll see. I hope your guys are having fun. That's the more important thing. But before we get there, Monterey starts against Coronado. We've talked about, I know you talked about Childress having rivalries when you were growing up, and you've been involved with the Silver Spurs games and Coronado games, but starting a season against a rival, is there something different, something special about that for you?
It's not easy. I've done it before. When I got to Childress, the big rivalry that I inherited there was the Childress-Wellington game. Mm-hmm. And, those were two really, really good programs, a lot of hype around that game, and that was the first ball game of the year. And you jump right into it, and it's a good atmosphere. It's a way to get the season going. It's better than playing in a rivalry game, playing at home, and doing our Hub City Showcase is phenomenal.
Glad you said that. I couldn't remember what the name was. It's
going to be phenomenal. We get to showcase Lubbock ISD football. The game has a little more weight on it than just traveling over and playing, Sisters of the Poor, because you're trying to pick up a win. And so you want this to mean something. You put a lot of time, you put a lot of effort. These kids, they invest a lot. It takes a lot to be in our program. And so playing in games like this where you get to play a rivalry game means something. And then you want them to play in meaningful district games. Yep. And we'll play in plenty of those. And you want to play in meaningful playoff games. So you don't do all of this just to go pad your schedule and not play any fun games. And this is going to be a fun one.
This goes back to my college football days. I always thought, I covered LSU for a long time, and that's not me bragging, it's just what it is. I always thought when they started the season against a big name, started against Clemson, or they started against Oregon one year, you could tell. When they started practicing for the season, you could tell those guys you could see their shoulders up, they were locked in. I would think for Coronado and Monterey kids that ever since that schedule was released, they were both like, all right.
Yep.
There's a little bit more juice in these off-season workouts.
When we were younger, the college season would start off. It'd be good games. I remember A&M and LSU would start the season against each other all the time, and then you just jump right into it. Now, everybody's playing, like Tech's playing ACU,
right? Or
that you're excited the season's here, but it doesn't give you the juice because everybody's playing this lower tier. And so it doesn't feel like the season's really starting until a few weeks from now for them.
But Coronado and Monterey, they're not messing around.
It's starting Friday.
Or Lubbock High and Estacado, as you mentioned, it's the LISD Showcase.
Yep.
Thursday, Friday, both games at Lowry Field. We'll come back and we'll talk about where those can be seen and heard. We'll come back after this break in the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. Jason Sims and I were just figuring out the UIL stuff for them so they can call us and check with us here.
There you go.
Next time we'll tell them. Who was it? So one of the coaches told me, it was Mike Moffitt, the Lubbock Cooper volleyball coach, said that he had come up with all these potential plans for what the district could be, and then they put that out. He's like, okay, well, never mind. Just erase the board. Mike's got a lot of Lubbock High ties. He's a Lubbock High graduate. He probably was the principal at Evans when a lot of your kids were coming through. He's Dr. Mike Moffitt. I tease him once in a while. Good dude. If they're not going to listen to him, they're not going to listen to the two of us. So
there's a computer now.
Well, that thing's pretty smart usually. You're talking about technology. Andrew's new offensive coordinator was talking about how he got the job. He was still in Fort Stockton, but he could still watch video of Monterey's defense back in whenever. So that's not the way it used to be.
Right.
As a young coach, how many of those trips did you make meeting somebody halfway and meeting at Allsups or whatever?
I did it for years. In fact, I was still doing it my first year as a head coach, driving and trading film on Saturdays, and I missed those days. Those were some good conversations. That was some good memories. There's a lot of things we were doing in the profession that these young coaches will never experience. That I hate it. It's more convenient. You're more productive, and it's been for a good change. But just some of the experiences that you have as a coach, these younger coaches will never experience that, especially if you coach small school football.
Exactly.
Painting the field, mowing, driving to trade film, only having one copy, like before they even had the burners that would make multiple copies. And I was after trading the reel-to-reel, where you would get in there and put it on the bus and then go meet the bus in the morning and get the developed film off of the bus. So that was before my time, but I came in VHS, and then we started trading DVD. And then my second year at Quanah is when I got Huddle. Like, our district made us get Huddle.
Right.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I started calling other people, say, you've got to get this. And now we just live and die by it.
So in your office now, I can remember sitting there, James Morton, talking to James Morton. One of his assistant coaches came in, and they were talking about who was going to do film. And part of the discussion was, well, how late's the Dairy Queen stay open? Or where is the Allsup's? I mean, is it in a good part of town? So there's schemes, there's game plans you got to come up with just to get the game plan.
Yep. And then you get into traditions. Like, when I was at Quanah, I just knew I was going to meet Hamlin and Benjamin. We were at the courthouse. We knew where to go. We did it every year. And so it was fun. You know, I miss that because you could get some injury reports. If the head coach didn't go and he sent an assistant, generally we'd get them talking and they'd just spill the beans. They would tell us who got injured. We accrued a lot of information we needed to win the game from some of those weak-minded assistants. Those days are over.
But you hit on something else, because usually it was two guys going, right?
Yes, you needed somebody to talk to on the trip. In fact, me and my head coach at Archer City, we would go together and we'd talk about what we needed to do. We'd get a little work done in the car, talk about some stuff, get the film, get back, and then get to work on it.
And there's some camaraderie there.
Yes.
And you guys all, the coaches, they get to spend a lot of time together anyway, probably more than they want to sometimes, but that's different.
Yeah, you got to visit a lot with the opponents. You might not get to do that. Like this week, I know Roy. You know, like Coach Roy, he's a phenomenal guy. I consider him a friend, and so I get to talk to him. But there's not a lot of the other coaches that I talk to, hardly ever. And back then, you would meet up, trade film. You got to know them, and so then when you would run into them in other places, you'd already had conversations with them, and really good networking and camaraderie building, like you said.
Yeah, you guys must get along, because Andrew promised that he's not going to wear a baby blue suit tomorrow to the LISD coaches luncheon.
Me neither.
I'm sure you've heard the legendary tales of DJ and Judd, who will just say that they didn't necessarily see eye to eye, and DJ would kind of poke.
This is a different era.
Yep.
This is a different era.
We're kinder and gentler.
That's a little blip in a great tradition. You know, we don't need to focus on that. There's been some great coaches at both schools. There's been some really
a lot of them
stuff.
sit out there in the audience for that thing.
Yeah, we're past the child play that happened for a few years, and not even worth talking about.
It cracked me up when you were talking about, I think you were talking about track, how you enjoyed meeting with the Amarillo coaches and getting all that, and David Thetford wanted no part of that. That old plainsman in him came out and said, I don't like the Sandys. He was kind of giving you grief, so different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
Everybody can get along here. Monterey and Coronado, they don't have to get along between the lines. They can knock snot out of each other for 48 minutes and then get up and shake hands and go their way. That's 7 p.m. Friday, LSD Showcase. Jason Sims finally opened my eyes. I knew it was called something I couldn't remember. LISD Showdown, because Lubbock High and Estacado play Thursday night at Lowry Field. Monterey and Coronado will come back. I'll tell you where you can find those games and LISD games all season on the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. Speaking of mobile apps, that was a pretty slick segue. LISD games this season, all of them. Home, I believe home and away. I may be wrong about that. Mac or Mike can correct me on that. Maybe it's all will be audio, but all home games for sure are available audio and video on LISDsports.com, LubbockISDsports.com. Make sure I say that without stumbling too much. Audio and visual streaming can be found there. You can bookmark that on your Apple or Android device, iOS. I know most people have Apple, or Android device as a web app, which means you can put it right on your phone, which I'll say again, for an old dude like me, that's perfect, because that way I don't have to try to hunt for it. You can just mash it with your thumb and there you are. It's a new deal for LIC this year. No more radio, which Jason and I were talking about that. I'll miss radio. I mean, there's still going to be games on radio, and I'll run through that in the last segment, the games here on Raymar stations. But we live in a different age. We were talking about coaches going to get stuff and all. We live in a different world. So now everybody can watch and listen to every Lubbock ISD football game on LubbockISDSports.com. And I'll get clarification to see if that's road also. Odds are you're going to be able to find everybody's game on the road too. The world's shrunk so much. You guys, how many home games do you guys have out of your?
5. Five official. We're going to play in the stadium. No, I think it's 5. I know we're officially 5-5. It's different here at Lubbock because sometimes you're on the road and you're playing here, but we're home versus Lubbock High and Coronado this year. So we have 5 home games, 5 road games.
Juan Rod's Lubbock High Westerners don't ever leave Lubbock. They've got road,
I know.
Their road games are at Lowry or at People's Bank
That's
Stadium.
handy.
Yes.
Handy.
He said he doesn't have to meal plan anymore, which I told him, well, that's got to be part of the fun as a coach. You get to pick a really good place, like Joe Sexton talks about when they go up to Perryton. You probably know some of these places. Joe's talking about the burger place in Perryton.
I don't know the name of it, but I've played in Perryton a lot. I played there and coached there. And
there's got to be a place like that in Childress.
I have the Blodgett family. That's Chris Ann's a principal, and Randy's one of our big boosters, and their son Carson's one of our JV linebackers, and he's really good. They're both from Perryton. I've heard them talk about it, and all those little towns have really cool burger places. In Childress, it was Mighty Burger.
There you go.
So good.
It's like
makes me hungry right now.
It's like getting it off the grill at Mom and Dad's.
Oh yeah, they're over there just flipping it. And there's some good burger places here in Lubbock.
Oh yes, you don't have to go far. In fact, there's one right down the hall. I don't want to give away free advertising.
There you go. I've been looking for really good steak fingers.
Well,
somebody hit me up for that.
To not have to go to Andrews, right? Because if you go to Andrews, you'll find him. I can say that one. I can
in Andrews.
Yeah.
That's one thing Coach is really good at, is sharing food information.
Yep.
We generally know where all the really good food is. And so I've been told by a few people. I know all the Andrews place I've been told about, but it's part of the coaching culture. All the places, and people talk about, where to go in San Angelo, Mary's, and just all of the stuff.
Who's been probably in all of these towns that we're talking about through the years is your athletic director.
Oh, yes.
And first of all, I want to say this, Mike, I saw you across the way. I mean, you look like you've slimmed down, so you haven't been going to those places. But I guarantee you, Mike Meeks can tell you where to go. So
he's a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, he is.
I tell you, we're blessed to have him
in a lot of ways.
He is phenomenal.
Well, that's the food segment of the high school fan zone. We're going to jump back and talk. We haven't really talked much about your guys yet. I loved your post about the captains that popped up the other day. There's a very diverse group of kids who have been around for a while. Jonah Reed, who, those who don't know, is Coach Sim's son. His quarterback comes in. I think it's cool in his second year. These guys didn't know him at this point last year they'd met him. But to be a team captain in that short a period tells me a little bit about Jonah. Just rattle through those captains, who those guys are, and why they are important to you guys.
I'll hit on what you just said. I think it not so much tells you about Jonah. I think it tells you about the kids we have in Monterey, because they welcomed him with open arms, and he fit right in. And I'm very, very, very thankful for the friend group that he's made and the families of those kids. And it's been a huge, huge blessing to watch him flourish at Monterey. And one of his best friends in there is Noah Alexander, who is a returning starter for us at wide receiver, and also Matt Johnson on our offensive line. Those are our 3 offensive captains. And then over on the other side, you have Brady Curry.
Yep.
A
little bit of DNA there.
Yes, a little bit of DNA. Darius Tillman at the linebacking core, and Zay Hall in the secondary. So I was really impressed with how our kids voted for their captains, because without being prompted, they voted 3 offensive, 3 defensive. An offensive lineman, defensive lineman, linebacker, wide receiver, defensive back, quarterback. So you get to spread those captain groups through all the meeting rooms. And so every little group has a captain that can represent those groups.